We are Marshall, a special night at Marshall University as the city and the university remembers those who perished in the plane crash of 1970. The Herd against Middle Tennessee next on ASN.
Tonight we welcome you to Huntington, West Virginia, the home of the Thundering Herd of Marshall. It's a Conference USA battle as we get closer.
All the throws in Litton, 6'6" sophomore from Tampa, Florida, is completing 62% of his passes. He's also thrown 18 touchdowns. Well, one of his biggest targets is a 6'7" wide receiver, Michael Clark, another redshirt sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, who, though he is big, Mike, is averaging 18 yards every time he touches the football.
Thanks, guys. And actually, quarterback Chase Litton will be wearing a different number than usual tonight. Instead of wearing the number 1, he'll be wearing the number 14 in honor of the late quarterback, Ted Shoebridge. Ted Shoebridge was quarterback of the Thundering Herd in 1970 when him, as well as his coaches and teammates, were killed in the plane crash of 1970. And they will be honored in tonight's game, as well as the members of the 1971 team that brought football back to Marshall.
Maddie, you see the 75 on the back of those helmets. That represents the 75 people who lost their lives in that tragic plane crash flying back from the Carolinas. Brad, 46 years ago, November 14th, 1970, seems like a long time for us, but for all these loyal Marshall fans, it's still fresh in their minds.
Well, no question about it. And what a fabulous job by Coach Holliday and obviously the entire organization and administration here at Marshall to make sure that those 75.
Well, Middle Tennessee State actually won the toss. Instead of deferring, they're going to take the football. Kamani Thomas, Reuben Garnett are the deep men, and taken at the 2-yard line, it's going to be Reuben Garnett. Garnett turns the corner, gets to the edge over the 20, 25, and he's drilled out of bounds at about the 30-yard line.
One of the most exciting wide receivers in all the country.
James with 5 straight 100-yard games, and this one is going to be incomplete. Good coverage in that secondary by the freshman Chris Jackson.
Say about the All-American wide receiver.
Now there's a transfer from Ole Miss, and here's a little swing pass in the flat. Nowhere to go for Mathers.
Going to have to be able to stop the run in Mathers in order for the Herd to get the victory tonight.
3rd and 13. Urzua doing a nice job, and this one's going to be picked off. Terry Richardson with the INT. That's going to be the 5th for Marshall here this year, and the 2nd for Richardson, a 5th-year senior out of the Motor City. Urzua coming out, had some confidence, completed a couple of balls, Brad. But that's the 4th pick he's thrown now in the last 2 weeks.
Well, and this isn't a bad throw. He throws up. It's just a little bit behind the receiver and just off of his hands. And then, as you see, the safety does an excellent job of making sure he looks it in and gets back north to try to get some positive yards.
And he's a much better quarterback this year than last year, even though he won 10 games, because the supporting cast was so much better. This one's going to be complete down to the 15-yard line.
What better thing to do than come here and enjoy a great football game for the hometown team here in Huntington, which means so much to this community, not just the organization.
The give is to Foster. Foster, if he got in the end zone, there's the call. Touchdown, and Heilig Foster, the junior picks, has had a 100-yard game yet. But Doc Holliday has a couple of good running backs in the recruiting class coming in.
Well, and as you see right there, you talk about
3rd and 8. Middle Tennessee's at 47% this year. There's the blitz, and he's going down, the sack. That's going to be the 23rd sack for Marshall this year. And I told you number 35, Frankie Hernandez, had some burst of speed.
Well, and they blitzed him directly up the middle. This is an excellent job. He'll come right in the middle of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. He pauses for a second, and then you just see that explosion that Mike Gleason was telling you all about, that the coaches told us about. Take another look at it right there. Once he gets going, there's no place for Urzua to throw the football. Beautiful blitz.
Right now with 6 wins, relying on a redshirt freshman quarterback. Litton drops back, fires, has his man up at the 45-yard line.
And even the quarterback, Urzua, with a nice block to help get his wide receiver some extra yards.
James picks up 21. Mathers, not the same success. Hits that defensive front, picks up a yard. So the Thundering Herd, they take over now at the 11-yard line, up 7-3. Play action again. Litton, a flush from the pocket, rolls right, finds his man over the 20-yard line. So another completed ball for Litton. See.
And I love this right here. It got a little bit of getting him out of the pocket on the run. And you can see the strong arm that we talked about. He's able to go to his right and be able to throw.
Number 9, Justin Hunt, excuse me. help if I flip my board, right? There's a nice run, and that's going to be Tony Pittman. Right now, the Thundering Herd facing a 2nd and 13, trailing by a field goal 10-7 here. First play of the second quarter. Litton completes it up over the 20-yard line. 3rd and 6 for Litton out of the gun. Far side, this one's complete over the 30 for the first down. In coverage, Jeremy Cottrell, and that's Michael Clark.
You know, at Middle Tennessee, he said, yes, absolutely, they're going to match up and play. So I'm excited to watch this as this game unfolds.
Foster finds the edge. She's up to the 40-yard line.
Look at it. Secure the catch first and then worry about the feet.
Another big third down play for Litton, 3rd and 4. This one's complete. I was going to say it had the first down, and then Knight kind of backtracked, but he picks up the first down.
To jump back and basically gave up the first down, but then had enough athletic ability, as you see right there. Excellent move, but then realizes what happened and then has the strength and the wherewithal to get past the first down sticks.
They only trail by a field goal. Litton, far side, this one's complete. Again, it's going to be Josh Knight on the receiving end. 8 for 14, 83 yards now for Litton. Rolls right, stops, fires down the field, has his man at the 35. And that one is Emmanuel Byrd again. So we'll certainly hope he's going to be okay. Yurachek with 44 catches last year, 24 coming into the game. Alec Foster trying to get to the edge, puts his head down inside the 25-yard line. The depth chart of the offensive team here at Marshall, 13 players on the depth chart, either freshmen or sophomores. Another play action pass, and they go near side, a little push, and it's going to be a touchdown. No penalty flag down, and Justin Hunt has his 4th scoring strike. Number 19 for Litton this year. He had 23 last season.
And as you take right here, again, it's the simple play action. Not much, but Litton does an excellent job of leading the receiver toward the back of the...
4 receivers. Mathers in the backfield. They come out. They swing it out to Richie James. Good coverage by Marshall. Mathers right side. Swarmed under by a wave of Thundering Herd players with 2 top 10 finishes back in his playing days. Going to keep it on the ground, and nice tackle coming up by Corey Neely. Jim Donnan, who's in our studios with ASN down in West Palm Beach, he did it 15 times in just 6 seasons. This is Pittman, left side, got some running room, and Pittman is up over the 40, all the way up to about the 44-yard line. We'll head down to the ASN studios for the ASN halftime report. Here's Anderson again, all the way up to, it should be a first down, so they'll stop the D.
Football and head down. He's a guy that can make people miss in space also.
3rd and 1. Pittman has the first down and then some, and he's all the way up to the midfield stripe. Javante Moffitt might have saved a touchdown right there with the tackle.
And look at this hole right here. As you see, we talked about in the first half, the offensive line, those guys owning the line of scrimmage, and that's what it does. It opened up holes. Look, and he had 2 or 3 different holes that he was able to choose, and then Pittman chooses the one that obviously got a big gain.
Carries for 28 yards, averaging 9 in the first half. Picked up 15, and there's another first down for the Thundering Herd.
Last 2 weeks they've been well, only gave up 134 against FIU and 110 last week. But a couple weeks ago, 310, 311 on the ground. So, you know, that the tackling has been an issue for Middle Tennessee. But as you see right here, this is one of the things that they're trying to correct on this drive. Running back by committee, and all of them have the ability, you know, to, even after contact, drive forward to get that extra yards as needed.
Litton play action, going for the home run ball again, and again, this time it's caught for the touchdown. But I was going to say again that Charvarius Ward, the defensive back, was all over the receiver. Justin Hunt has his 2nd touchdown and 5 now in 2016.
As you take a look right here, you talked about Ward. He's grabbing and holding him right there, but look at this catch. One-handed, I don't need 2 hands. Excellent job by Hunt to be able to...
4 minutes. So Litton with his 2nd scoring strike. He's got 20 now this year. He had 23 as a true freshman in 2015.
Coordination from Andrews to haul that pass in.
Coming up from that cornerback spot, number 6 making the tackle, Terry Richardson.
Is doing an excellent job of fighting for this defense and making plays all over.
Picked up one, so wow, there's another sack going down. That pocket just collapsed that time. We'll see who gets the credit. Number 99 is in there, Jason Smith.
Well, and you see, again, it does an excellent job of penetration from the pass rush. And you know, that's one of the situations that they didn't have to blitz to apply pressure.
4 for 8 third down conversions tonight. That's 50%. There's another one. This one's complete. And Emmanuel Byrd has another catch. Charlotte had won 3 of 4, but Charlotte went down today to Rice. Coming up again to make the shoelace tackle there was Kendall Gant.
Enough in order to make him miss.
Oh, ball's free.
And then obviously he has a big run, and then there's a fumble, and it looks like Marshall's defense has came up with their second turnover of the night. A huge play for the Thundering Herd after giving up a big play to Middle Tennessee.
Wow, Middle Tennessee, the last 24 games, they're 22-2 when winning the turnover battle. But as you pointed out, the second time now that Marshall has come up with the big turnover.
Well, and sometimes you get this, it looks like it goes in the bread basket, and Mathers just looks like he looked up just a tad in order to see where the defender was before securing the football. We talked about this in the first half, buddy, you know, that in this type of conditions, as the weather changes, it's a little bit colder outside.
4 wideouts for Linton. Here comes the pressure, flush from the pocket, and fires and has his man inside Middle Tennessee territory. It's Yurachek, the big tight end, on the catch. Well, he just battled and pulled that one away.
Well, and that's why he's on the Mackey Award watch list, you know, which goes to the top tight ends. Again, it was the delayed blitz. You see number 31, DJ Sanders, a great linebacker. He just loses contain. Linton does an excellent job of getting outside, and then that, we've been talking about basketball, he just boxes out the defender, uses that big frame. Excellent job of catching with his hands, as you see from the reverse angle. And Linton does an excellent job of throwing away.
The Old Dominion. There's another sack. That's the 3rd sack of the ball game for the Thundering Herd. So Chuck Heater's club is really pinning their ears back and coming strong.
Well, and anything you can do, I can do better. We all know football is sometimes a copycat league. So you're going to apply a little pressure. Well, guess what? We're going to apply some pressure also to your redshirt freshman quarterback that has done an excellent job up to this point of the game.
And right now, Middle Tennessee with 17, of course, playing without their starting quarterback. And this one's almost picked off, and it would have been Terry Richardson. That would have been his second tonight.
For no reason, just to do it.
Here's Anderson. Nice cutback for Anderson, and he's inside the 30-yard line. Well, he made something out of nothing that time.
You know, 6'2", 250 pounds, and you're going to see a heavy dose of him, but look at the leverage and the bounce that he has as we talk about it. 250 pounds of being able to get to the line of scrimmage. He's able to bounce that ball outside for a big game.
Here he is again, bouncing to the outside, inside the 20-yard line. And you mentioned a couple of times the 252-pound frame. He carries it well. He doesn't look like he's 252.
Well, and that's why, you know, the coaches are so high on him, as you see him right there. And what I loved about him at the end of that last run, he finished it. He tried to finish it, which means he delivered the blow. You know, we've seen his ability to bounce. We've seen him take it in between the tackles and in between the A-gaps. And they're featuring him now with an opportunity to extend their lead.
Nice cutback inside the 10-yard line, and he's in the end zone for the touchdown. Anthony Anderson had 70 before that play. That's his second rushing touchdown. And keep in mind, Marshall has not had a 100-yard rusher all season long.
Well, keep sticking around because this young man is going to get a couple more. As you see right here, it's the same play. He bounces and then watch him direct traffic, points out to a blocker. Great crackback block from the wide receivers. Again, you love when receivers are blocking downfield.
And most importantly now, with 13:23 to go, Marshall opens up some breathing room, 28-17.
You saw the energy and their sense of urgency pick up because they felt they had an advantage.
Mathers on the reception, gets over the 25 and over the 30-yard line. Fumble again. Ball was loose. Marshall says they have it. That'll be the second time Mathers fumbled. And yes, Marshall has the football at the 31-yard line. They came into the ballgame +2. That's their third takeaway. So they've jumped up to +5 on Chuck Heater's defense.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out on the limb here. We'll see on the replay, but it looks like number 5, your guy, Corey Neely, who's been all over the field tonight, was the first guy to get there to start making contact on Mathers, and who knows what happened because you saw the rest of the swarm. There's your guy, number 5, Neely, as he continues to fight. And look at him. Strip out the football. He's continuing to fight, and it is your guy. You called him. You talked about him all night. Corey Neely, the 6'1", 187-pound senior from Rock Hill, South Carolina, has just been dynamite tonight for this defense of the Thundering Herd all over the place. Look at the great technique. He secured the tackle, and that right there is just sheer willpower to force a fumble when the running back or a wide receiver or whoever has that football in their hands. Corey Neely, great job in creating another turnover.
Playing that emotional game here on the anniversary of the 1970 plane crash. Pittman has some running room. Pittman inside the 15-yard line. So Anderson with 85 yards, and now Pittman breaks free for a big gainer.
And look at this hole. We've been talking about it. The offensive line for the Thundering Herd has a feel. They are completely dominating. They are finishing blocks. They are owning the line of scrimmage and opening up holes that even...
Litton has a couple of touchdown passes. Make it 3. All alone in the end zone. So 21 touchdown passes now for number 14. And that one goes to number 8. Josh Knight, and that's going to be his 5th this year.
All predicated and set up from the play action. You know, as we take a peek at it right here, as the play action sucks the linebackers up, sucks the DBs up. The only guy is wide open because, again, the dominant rushing attack.
Only 12 times this year, the lowest number in 16 years. The defense, they've come up with 3 big turnovers, cashed in all 3 times with touchdowns for Litton and company. And right now they open up a 35-17 lead with 12 minutes to go.
You know, and then, of course, we already know he's got back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, which is only the second time that that's happened at Middle Tennessee.
This one is picked off at the 49-yard line. Guess who?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he wears number 5. He's from Rock Hill, South Carolina. He's a senior. He's a leader. He's a playmaker. He's a ball player. And his name is Corey Neely. Get to know him, get to love him, America, because this young man can play some football. Look at that effort right there. Excellent job. He's already got a forced fumble. He's been all over the field making tackles, and then right there, a big interception. Huge play for that young man to lay out. Look at the drive, keeps his hips open, vertical jump, one hand, tip it to yourself. You practice tip drill each and every week and does an excellent job. Looks like a wide receiver, making sure that football does not touch the turf.
And he thinks in time, he's only a sophomore in time, he could be a 70% completion type quarterback. Looking far side, and he has his man. It's a touchdown. Another one for Litton. This one goes to Hyleek Foster coming out of the backfield.
Wow. They were comfortable, and all you're going to see again is the play action and the running back, Hyleek Foster, the junior from Gaffney, South Carolina, who has explosiveness and great speed. Another one-handed catch.
He climbs the chart. He came in number 8, tied for number 8 with 39 touchdowns, 4 scoring strikes, and now it's 42-17 with 6:24 to go.
Well, and it was a great play call by Coach Legg. Again, they understand they were going to get man-to-man. He was effective and efficient, but you have to have the running game because we saw that's what opened up Marshall's offense was the rushing attack.
Heavy rush again, and almost another sack for the Thundering Herd. They have 3 already tonight. 60 seconds to go. They'll close the book on this one. The anniversary game here of the 1970 plane crash. And Doc Holliday telling us in the meeting last night, they always play well. A lot of emotion.
Yeah, this is
the anniversary game.
Absolutely. And the best playing football. The kneel down. Victory formation, buddy. Great job by both teams and both coaching staff. Somebody had to win. And, you know, for Marshall being what this night meant, you know, for the 75 that were lost 40 years ago. You know, it's just huge. Him holding up the helmets with the 75 on the back is just an emotional night, very touching for obviously all those that are involved with Marshall and the Thundering Herd University and the great city of Huntington.
Well, Middle Tennessee heads to Charlotte next week. Marshall heads to Miami to take on FAU. Your final thoughts on this ball game?
Just a great game. You know, Marshall, not much expected from them to come in and play as well as they did, dominate running football and handle their business.